This story is simple but powerful, and it teaches us valuable lessons about how we react to difficulties and how we can find strength and growth even in the hardest moments. Let's explore this inspiring analogy together and discover how we can apply these teachings in our own lives. In a small village surrounded by mountains and beautiful landscapes lived Benta, a young woman with many doubts about life and its mysteries. Since she was very little, Benta had always asked questions about many aspects of life, but something terrible was about to happen in her life. Benta had two childhood friends, Cleusa and Zita. The three had been neighbors since they were born. They would play together until nightfall. If one of them got sick, the other two would stay with her in her room until she got better. Companionship was the strong point of this beautiful friendship that had started ever since they could remember. Time passed, and the three became even more united. They made plans for the future and even for their children. They dreamed of living in the same city and attending the same university. One day, Benta went on a trip with her parents. It was a family trip, and she couldn't wait to get back home and share all her travel adventures. However, upon returning, Benta had no idea she would face the most tragic news of her life. Cleusa and Zita's parents, who worked at the same company, had received an irresistible job offer on the other side of the country, and they moved away. Benta was devastated. She cried every day. Life turned grey for her. Her days became filled with loneliness and anguish. Her grandmother, noticing her sadness, decided to take action. She invited Benta to her house to talk. Benta shared her life and all the big problems she was facing. She didn't know how she would overcome all the adversity and was thinking of giving up. The young woman was tired of trying to solve a problem that seemed unsolvable. The grandmother listened patiently to her grief, then led her to the kitchen. She filled 3 pots with water. In the first, she placed carrots. In the second, eggs. In the last one, ground coffee. She put them on the stove and let them boil without saying a word. About 20 minutes later, she turned off the stove. She placed the carrots in one bowl, the eggs in another, and the coffee in a cup. Then she turned to her granddaughter and asked, "Tell me, what do you see?" "Carrots, eggs, and coffee," the young woman replied. The grandmother then invited her to feel the carrots. She did so and noticed they had become soft. The grandmother then asked her to break an egg. After removing the shell, she saw that it was hard-boiled. Finally, the grandmother asked her to taste the coffee. The girl smiled as she tasted its unique flavor. Then she asked, "What does this mean, Grandma?" That's when she received a valuable piece of advice that would change her way of seeing life. The grandmother explained that these foods had faced the same adversity, boiling water, but each reacted differently. The carrot had been strong, hard, and unyielding. However, after being subjected to the boiling water, it softened and became weak. The egg had been fragile, with a thin shell protecting its liquid interior. But after going through the boiling water, it became hardened. However, the coffee behaved differently. Upon contact with the boiling water, it transformed, changing the water itself. When adversity knocks at your door, how do you respond? Are you a carrot, an egg, or a coffee bean? The grandmother asked. That question brings a reflection for all of us. Surely we've all been through tough moments and searched for ways to respond with more wisdom. In a world full of challenges and adversity, it is essential to remember the lesson of the carrots, eggs, and coffee. When life boils and difficulties seem insurmountable, we must not lose hope. Like the carrot, we may feel weak and fragile in the face of circumstances, but it's important to remember that softness and flexibility also carry strength. Just like the carrot softens to adapt to boiling water, we can find ways to adapt to hard times while remaining resilient. The egg teaches us that no matter how tough we may seem, we can become hardened by life if we don't learn to process adversity in a healthy way. That's why it's crucial to keep our hearts soft, even in the face of difficulty, so we don't become insensitive. And finally, coffee shows us that we can transform difficult situations into something meaningful. Just as coffee changes color and aroma when exposed to boiling water, we too can find opportunities for growth and learning through adversity, becoming stronger and wiser. So when life feels heavy and adversity knocks at your door, remember the lesson of the carrots, eggs, and coffee. Be flexible like the carrot, open like the egg, and transformative like the coffee. This way, you'll face challenges with courage and wisdom, turning difficulties into opportunities for growth and overcoming.